Hey, good morning, guys. I hope you are doing amazing. And today we are going to install the Fedora 44 that is recently released with the GNOME 50 version. And I have already downloaded the ISO. This is not the video about how you can download the Fedora ISO or this like on how you can create the VMs natively on the Windows, because we are going to install this Fedora 44 directly on the Windows. I'm using the Windows 11 and we are going to use this in the Hyper-V Manager. That is basically so we can create in the Hyper-V Manager we can create the natives QUVME. I don't know what the exact term is, but basically the native kernel-based VM. So that's what we are gonna do. So let's create a VM quickly. I just named it and selected as storage, which is basically an SSD. And let's select the generation, assign memory. I'm gonna assign it, let's say 16, 384, about 16 gigabyte of virtual RAM, because I have a 32 gigabyte installed in this system, so I can easily assign a 16 GB. And let's go to the default switch so it can access the network. And I'm gonna assign it, let's say I'm gonna assign it's 120. Okay, let's say 128 is fine. And next is installation option. For the installation, basically I'm selecting, you don't need to follow these steps unless, in fact, let me know if you want to know that how we can have this Hyper-V manager or this VM creation system within the Windows, and I will love to create another video anyway. So let's say I'm gonna select image file, but not from here. Let's go to the over here. Also, I have just put my ISO in the same SSDs for faster loading, and I have selected it. Basically, what I'm doing, I'm creating a VM and I'm attaching the ISO as a CDR DVD room so I can install that. So let's hit next, then finish. And now a VM basically is created. So let's connect this and start the installation. And let me, in fact, let me connect it and let's see. But for the specs, it's very important. And let me show you what I'm basically using. I'm using an Ryzen 5 5606 core with 32 gigabytes of RAM. And for the GPU, I'm using the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4060 Ti 16 gigabyte. Why I'm mentioning this? Because the using Linux on an NVIDIA is basically a little bit tricky, or it's not the tricky, but it is important to like enable the third-party repository so system can use the NVIDIA hardware. Like the NVIDIA is one of the shitty companies. They don't release or they don't provide open source video drivers, or no video drivers, even closed source. Not they are not even providing closed source video drivers for the Linux openly. But they have recently started supporting the Linux just because of the AI. Anyway, so our like installation process is just kicking up, and we will be like starting the installation. By the way, the installation process is going to be the same for you if you're installing this directly on your PC, but this is video is not intended to install directly on your system, because it's just like it's a new release and we are trying to test it out that how it will perform on the system. That's why we are trying it out, and this video is about that trying this Fedora Linux directly into the VM. All this, by the way, the performance I see is really nice, by the way, so don't worry about the scaling. I'm using a 1440p monitor, and let's go. What's the okay? Let's go up to 1080p. This is, by the way, is installer. Once that is installed, that will be updated automatically. So let's go close it. By the way, without installing, we can easily test this out, that how does it feel, or how does it perform on the system already. That's I like, or I love the Linux. So this is how it is going to look like. By the way, I'm not gonna like waste your time over here. So let's jump into the installation directly. Okay, so we have this install the Fedora on your. Let's go to the setting and let's see what system that it does have a pick it up, because remember we are using a VM, so it is easily, but it doesn't assign the full 16 gigabyte, because remember we just checked the dynamic RAM allocation. So dynamic RAM allocation is basically, if needed, then system can use up to 16 gigabyte. If not needed, that it will not use basically. And as this is the latest 44 workstation edition and it is using the GNOME 50, and as recently the Fedora is shifted completely to the Wayland, basically the GNOME's environment, and it is with the GNOME. So let's go to the installation media and let's install in our VM. So click on the language, select your language, whatever you want to select. So let's say I'm gonna use the entire disk, which is a virtual disk. I'm not wanna encrypt the data, and review the installation, erase and install. Microslop, please take a note. This is how you install the operating system. It took about 4 clicks and it started installation. And I'm 100% sure that it will not ask for plethora of different options to set up even after that. So it's already being installed. So let's wait for that. Once that install, we will be taking care further. Okay, meanwhile, I just paused the video just for probably a 16 seconds, and it's already about 50% done. So what I'm gonna say, and let's see if our internet is working or not, because sometime the Windows natives VM manager are very frustrating. Let's see. Let me see. I think yeah, internet is working, because I am in the VM. Yeah, sometime it does require to have a separate switch that is called external switch for the VMs. But in our this case is working with even the default switch that we selected initially in our VM creation setup. So that is amazing. So let's wait for the installation completion and we'll be taking it. Anyway, again, if you want me to show you exactly how we can have this VM setup directly in this in your Windows system, let me know and I will love to make a video on this, because I can't cover this everything on this one video, because it does have a lot of steps to take care of that. By the way, on a side note, I'm using this as a VM in my Windows. So on a side note, this is the RDP connection, which does connect to my separate uh, Windows PC, and where I do use this as a my own local home server, which is a Windows one, by the way, and which is the Windows one. Okay, so which is the Windows one, but I use this for the server manager, where I use a couple of other things as well, so like NA10 and other stuff. So really weird stuff anyway. So let me close that, and our installation is about to complete, and it is very quick, by the way. So let's wait for the completion. Okay, our installation is completed, and honestly maybe it took completely about 2 or 3 minutes maximum. And let's exit to the live desktop mode, and this is, by the way, desktop also about no like desktop mode, but let's restart this. And this is the VM, so it will be disconnected. So let's click on this. So it is basically restarting. And in fact, let me go to the media. Okay, I can't do that basically. Okay, let me eject the disk right from here, and let's restart that again. So let's go to the shutdown, basically not that one, turn off feature. So let's connect that and again. So basically I'm simulating the process of once the installation is completed. I'm basically ejecting the disk. That's mean I'm taking the USB out, and once for the turning off feature, basically I'm trying to restart that VM. So basically similar that how we do with the physical system. Don't worry, if you want me to like do all this setup and everything directly with the live system, let me know anytime. And this is the setup screen, by the way. Why it's looking a little bit weird, because I'm using this in a VM, as you know. So let's start the setup and we will be taking care of the resolution later. So let's start this step. This is the important one. So let's say allow the apps to determine your geographical location. If you want to allow, you can allow it. I don't want to allow. So also I can just one click it, and let's go next. And it's asking for a location. Let's say I'm gonna select this one anyway. So which is PKT, and let's this is important step right over here. Third-party repositories, enable third-party repositories because of the licensing issues. Fedora does provide you the cleanest experience, but for example, for working of third-party drivers, especially for the NVIDIA drivers, so enabling the third-party repositories is 100% recommended. Because of the licensing provided like problems, Fedora can't ship it directly, so that's why they gave us an option to enable that letters during the setup. So let's enable that. This is very important. Let's go next. And by the way, the ISO of the Fedora, okay, initial setup is not responding, but I don't know why. So let's wait for it. Maybe I'm using this in a VM. It's not a okay, so that worked anyway. So let's get, I'm gonna select this as stack, and let's go. Next password I'm gonna select is, it is a week, I don't care. Next, okay, start using Linux Fedora. That's it. This is how you get access directly to the Fedora, and this is that how you can take a tour. I'm gonna skip it, and let's go to the settings. Let's take care of the resolution, and let's go to the resolution setup right over here where it is this place, and let's go to the 1080p and apply that. So keep the changes, and now this is the Fedora Linux, by the way, one of the cleanest, and I believe this is the Linux that I do recommend for new users or even the power users. They can directly go to, without any second thought, they can start using the Linux from here. Zorin is good. It is more kind of towards giving you the feel that you are using the Windows like a system, which I hate the idea, by the way. This is pure GNOME experience, and if you want to use and you want to start using the Linux and you want to get the taste of the Linux, I highly recommend this start using it from the Fedora, because it gives you the clean GNOME experience. And as compared to the Ubuntu, I don't like the Ubuntu in other sense that it is like software packaging managing is not the ideal one. So it is using the better flat packs by default. It does have two type of repositories for flatpak, are the flatpak from org.org, which is the like a huge library of flatpaks. By the way, okay, it's refreshing the data anyway. It will get refreshed. Uh, and on the other hand, it does have the Fedora flatpaks as well. Both are the same one. And let's explore further. Okay, let's check that how much resources it is consuming. So let's go to the utilities. I believe in the system. Yeah, system monitor. And currently it's using about 10% of the like processor, which is kind of crazy because it's I'm using this as a VM, so it does rendering it out some things as well for giving me the graphical interface for my VM, because I'm using this as a VM. Basically, it's trying to give me a screen render as well. So it's using way less of that resources. Also, this is important. It's just using 2.2 gigabyte of RAM, which is amazing. It's not even using any kind of swap as well. And for the networks, it's using some like about on 1 Mbps, because it is refreshing up the repositories of software center, which is the center where basically the app where we basically able to download our software. We will be able to download our different softwares, the flatpaks. Okay, so let's go and let's see. Let's go to the settings and let's check for the software updates. it will not be visible maybe unless our full repositories or software application is refreshed. So okay, that is refreshed anyway, so let's wait for it. Okay, it's already, we have a lot of updates right over here. By the way, we can, by just double clicking on it, we can maximize any window. So let's say double clicking, and we have, in fact, I did downloaded the Fedora 44, the latest version, just today, and we still have a lot of different updates. Some updates are incremental updates, some are not full version updates, but do have some updates right over here as well. So we have system updates. So in the system we have following updates that are right there. I'm not gonna currently like install that. So let's say such for basic operations, what you would need basically to have software. For example, if you're a gamer, you need an OBS. You can easily install that. For video editing, you can use the DaVinci Resolve, either a studio, either a free version, or we does have the open source alternative like a KDL Live or Live. I don't know what's that as well. So, but we can, I would never use that media, like never use the Caden Live or Live, whatever the name is, but that is good as well for basic video editing. But you can use the DaVinci Resolve. Nothing is matched for a DaVinci Resolve anyway. So let's search for OBS. My internet is not doing great. So let's see. Okay, so it is eating up my whole uh kind of what's being updated anyway. So this my main parent PC, the host PC is eating up everything because I do have only 10 Mbps package. Okay, let's wait for the weird thing to be. This is window because I don't know what's been happening behind the scene. I don't have a control. Sometimes Windows optimization, delivery optimization start eating up all my data. You know how the Microslop is going on these days. So let's wait for these weird thing to over. Anyway, that's it. So our main goal that to install a Linux on a VM so we can get taste of it, but we are not done with it yet. Our video is almost about 15 minutes longer. So uh, Fedora is basically installed in a VM. Next, I'm gonna make a video that what we need to do once we install the Linux. So what we need to do first once we install the Linux or Fedora, and I am not doing anything further, so we will be taking care of that video later. And if you want me to show you that how we can have the native, I have not downloaded any additional or third-party software for creating a VM in the system, in my Windows system. If you want me to show you that how we can create these VMs, or we can have how we can have this setup right over here, let me know and I will be making a dedicated video on that. So that's it, and see you in the next video where we will be discussing on that how we need to set up, or what things need, or what things we should do first after installing the Fedora. So have a good day. Bye bye.